He's like, you didn't die by rock. Now you will die by cock. What's up, guys? It's Kickter. Today, I have my amazing girlfriend Stitch here with me, who's going to quiz me on
Golden Terrace.
Yes. I literally have no idea. I don't know what it's about at all. What is a terrace? Like a deck where you sit on when you're old?
That's one of the questions, so you'll be telling me, actually.
All right, we'll jump right in then.
Golden Terrace is a 2-volume DANMEI novel that is very romantic and relationship focused, heavy on the political intrigue and light on angst. The main characters are Shen, a famously noble military commander, and Xiaohan, a famously ruthless head of the emperor's personal guard. They're notorious enemies in the royal court, but end up in an arranged marriage. As for the rest, that'll be up for you to guess.
Ooh, oh, okay. What does the general do? Like just in the army? You're like main guy in the army?
Yeah, he's a military commander, so he leads troops in battle, and he's very good at doing so. They're both in their early 20s, which is a pretty big deal because it's very rare for someone to be such a prestigious general at his age, but that's basically because his family / all of the officials threw him into the war when he was like a baby child teenager, expecting him to die, and he didn't. And now he's everyone's problem. So the first question.
Okay. Oh my God, this is beautiful art. Holy cow.
So which one do you think is Shen and which one do you think is Xiaohan?
Shen is the general?
Mm-hmm.
He's the guy with the hat.
Okay. You're wrong, but okay.
Oh God, wait, okay. No, you're right. Okay, the Wei Wuxian looking ass guy, he's the general. He's like, we go out into battle, but the other guy is like the reserved, stoic, like, I'm the bodyguard man. Yes?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so by process of elimination, you did get it right the second time. Like when I first saw the art, I definitely got it backwards because I really couldn't imagine a military commander being the twink in the relationship, but it just ended up being that way. So one is canonly considered more beautiful, although they're both very, very beautiful. Like the book makes that very clear. One is technically slightly more beautiful. And which one do you think that is?
The Wei Wuxian general guy.
No.
What? Come on. So the stoic hat man is the most handsome man in the world, and he's a bodyguard?
He's not a bodyguard. He is the head of the emperor's imperial guards, okay? Like, this is the emperor's, like, secret police, essentially. They are, like, super hardcore, ruthless, personal assassins, basically.
He's not just a regular bodyguard. He's a cool bodyguard.
Yes. He's like a cold beauty, if that makes sense.
So we have Lan Wangji and Wei Wuxian.
Basically, the personalities are not that way, though. Although, to be fair, I think when it is said in the book that he is definitely the most handsome one, it is Shen kind of internally monologuing, like, yeah, I gotta admit he's prettier than me by just a smidge. So he could be biased. Okay. But also, canonly, there is good reasons for him to be the more beautiful one. So on a personal note, though, which one do you prefer?
Oh God. Taking a line out of like MXTX books, I think that the general has nicer brows. So which brows denote handsomeness, obviously.
Really? Because I thought you were going to go for the hat, personally.
Listen, okay, I don't like the
Sexiness
hat. I like
stored in the hat.
I like Jiggy. I don't just like the hat.
At the beginning of the novel, Shen's military career is brought to an abrupt end when he sustains some serious injuries. What do you think happens to him?
He got shot with an arrow and fell off his horse.
You were so close. He dodged an arrow and then a big rock fell out of the sky and hit him.
Where did the rock come from? What the fuck? Wait. Sasquatch throws rocks.
No.
Yes.
There's no DANMEI Sasquatch. He's not real. He can't hurt you.
But Sasquatch does throw rocks.
I said that in a way to make it sound funny, but what happens is there is an explosion and there's an avalanche of rocks in a narrow pass. It's essentially an assassination attempt.
Okay.
So there is like an avalanche of rocks happening, and then an arrow fires at him from somewhere, and he, through supernatural military prowess, dodges the arrow, but ends up getting struck by big giant boulder falling from the sky.
Damn.
Mm-hmm.
Just like how the dinosaurs died.
Yes.
That's how I want to go.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much the most epic way you can go as a invincible military commander. But how bad are his injuries, do you think? Like what happens to him after that?
Well, it looks like he can stand.
Okay.
Maybe it's all mental illness in it.
He's got a fear of rocks now. He can't function. Well, he's told that it will take years for him to walk again, to fully recover, because his legs were like completely smashed. So
by the rock?
Yeah, by the rock. So he's actually in a wheelchair for a good portion of the book.
I don't want to know what a wheelchair looked like in the past. Wheelchairs now suck. I'm sure that they weren't very good.
Sucks.
It's probably made out of like, the wheels are like octagons.
It's made of bamboo and it sucks. It's true. But it is really interesting how he kind of gets around in that first half of the book. In kind of the second half of the book, well, here's the thing. He actually kind of plays up his injuries a little bit more than they are at first. So he's kind of hiding how well he can get around, and continues using the wheelchair for a bit.
So he's like, I'm so weak, I couldn't sneak out.
Don't suspect me of anything. Yes.
Got it.
Yeah, but he does get super cool steampunk boots later on that help him walk. Yeah.
What?
So he can kind of walk and get around, but the boots make it so he can walk and move completely normally. Like,
it's like when you equip the weighted boots in Legend of Zelda and then you can walk in the water.
Yes, exactly like that.
Exactly the same as that.
So they get married.
Spoilers.
Pretty early on, like almost immediately. He comes back from the war and the emperor's like, great job, so sorry about your disability, don't worry, I've got you a wife. And by a wife, I mean a husband.
Does homophobia exist, or are we in the Yuri on Ice world?
That is a great question. And I actually was hoping you'd ask that, because I wrote up a big, long paragraph about the history of gay marriage in this book. And then I erased it all because I thought no one would want to hear that.
I think people would want to hear that. I'd like to hear it.
I will try to pull it up then. Okay. Essentially, in the previous dynasty, there was a bisexual icon emperor. He married a beautiful woman, and then he discovered that this beautiful woman had an even more beautiful brother. And so he created a whole new category of, you can get married to the emperor. That wasn't a concubine, wasn't a wife, imperial companion. He basically invented gay marriage so he could get married to the brother as well as the woman.
Babe, will you be my imperial companion?
Can you imagine how awkward that was for the siblings?
Oh, well, yeah, that's just shitty.
But probably not the weirdest thing to have happened in that dynasty. Who knows? Yeah, so he invents gay marriage so he can marry this beautiful man. And then, of course, naturally, this creates a bit of an uproar. So he's like, no worries, I will simply make gay marriage legal for all of the officials and nobles as well. Like, it's not just me, you guys can have this too. And so it becomes very quickly very trendy to be gay married.
Wow.
It becomes such a trend, like it's such a refined and sophisticated thing to do, be married to a man. That it becomes also really popular with the commoners as well. And it became so popular with the commoners, there was a huge decline in population to the point where it became a real problem in the empire. And then the emperor was like, okay, I changed my mind. Commoners not allowed to have gay marriage anymore. You guys abused your privileges.
Only me. Only I'm allowed to be gay.
And as for the nobles and officials, you guys also gotta like cut back a little bit. From now on, gay marriage between like the nobles and officials are only allowed get the permission from the emperor.
You have to grovel.
Yeah, you have to grovel a little bit. You have to earn it.
Wow. Okay. Okay.
But after that, the purpose of the gay marriage changed quite a bit. The following emperors started to use it as a way to like curb the power of anyone they thought was getting too powerful. Okay. So consider this. You have, I don't know, a very noble, powerful, well-beloved military commander who for generations his family has been gaining more and more prestige and more beloved by the people, more powerful, has this huge army at their command that is loyal only to them, not really the emperor. And you decide, you know what, if I can just prevent this guy from having any heirs, the title of his family will go back to me, the emperor, and problem solved. The emperor gives Yan Xiaohan to Fu Shen for an arranged marriage because he thinks Fu Shen is too powerful and doesn't want him to have babies.
You could say he's handicapping him with gay marriage.
Yeah, makes you wonder who did the assassination attempt.
Oh.
Yeah, there's some real intrigue going on. A lot of power plays, a lot of mysterious happenings.
He's like, you didn't die by rock. Now you will die by cock.
Which raises an equally valid question. Who is actually the wife in this relationship?
Oh, the hat guy tops.
You are so right for that.
Thank you.
Here's the funny thing. Okay, Fu Shen has it in his mind that he is the husband and Yan Xiaohan is his wife. So he calls Yan Xiaohan his wife all the time. That's kind of how it is in his head, but Yan Xiaohan absolutely tops him every single time.
That's amazing.
To be fair, his legs aren't really that strong, so
I'm only bottoming because I can't top, not because I am enjoying it, just so you know. That's a whole new level of brat.
It's true. Like their first time, he's like, all right, roll over, babe, I've got this. And he's like, that's nice, honey. Absolutely fucking not. Maybe when you feel better. So it's very sweet. In bed, Fu Shen is the wife, but on the streets, Yan Xiaohan is the wife. But to the emperor, Fu Shen is the wife because he wants Yan Xiaohan to kind of take over his position in the future. So there's multiple layers of wifery going on.
Okay. Ooh, he has multiple colors of hat.
Apparently.
These two, they really like to ride horses, or this artist just really likes to draw horses.
You know, for the amount of art where they're on horses, that is really not crucial to the plot.
Even the horse has like sexy coiffed hair.
I was kind of noticing that. Like, look at the eyelashes on the horse. Although they are known to be kind of at each other's throats in court and in public, always fighting and bickering, they seem not to like each other at all. They do have a backstory together. So, as teens, they shared a life-threatening experience that brought them closer together. What fierce creatures did they fight?
A dragon. It's not a turtle.
I wouldn't say China has the market cornered on it.
A tiger.
They have them where I live.
A bear?
No.
A moose? An elk? A man with a hook hand? A mountain lion? Swear to God, it's fucking Sasquatch. A wolf?
No.
Are you kidding? I'm getting upset. A tarantula. Is it a fish? Oh, like an eagle? A snake. But what kind of ecosystem do they live in?
Well, they are in a forest where in the book.
Bats.
No.
I have listed every animal. A dingo. Is it a typically scary animal?
They are typically scary if you know them.
A monkey.
We don't have monkeys here.
Wait, do people normally hunt them?
They are something you would probably hunt, yes.
Does it have a tail?
Yes. A pretty
Tasmanian devil.
No, they have tusks.
An elephant?
No.
A rhino?
We have them here.
Oh my God! Oh my God! This was like my second thing. It's a fucking wild boar.
Yes, they are attacked by wild boars and almost fucking die.
I'm so mad. I'm so mad. That thought literally came to my mind earlier and I didn't say it. They're attacked by a little piggy, okay? Little piglet comes and kills them.
It's kind of funny because they're literally teenagers and they're like, there's a group of the guards on one side and there's a group of Fu Shen and like all of his rich boyfriends. They have this like epic fight where they're like using swords, almost kill each other, but then they don't. And they're just like, wow, you're so good at sword fighting. Yeah, you too, bro. And then wild pigs come out of nowhere and suddenly everyone's fighting for their lives. And it's kind of stupid because they're so epic. And then they're literally getting their asses kicked by a bunch of pigs. They end up getting injured and separated from the rest and spend the night in a cave together, which does wonders for
nothing
DANMEI
straight
boys,
happens in a cave.
What happens in the cave, you might ask? It's better than sex, which they are too young for, by the way.
Kissing.
No.
A hug because you think you're gonna die.
A gaga.
Oh no.
Yes. One of them reaches gaga status in the cave. Which one do you think is gaga?
Please be the hat man.
Yes, it's
Okay.
Xiaohan. Yes.
Okay. He is gaga, but also the wife.
Yeah, sometimes the wife is gaga. I think that actually checks out. I actually wanted to read you the gaga scene because it's one of my favorites.
Please do.
Okay, so they are bickering.
Shen didn't know what to say. He could only keep saying, I'm sorry. Xiaohan clicked his tongue and asked, are you being sincere? With his free hand, he lifted Shen's chin and made him look directly at him. Lift your head. You're not even using a form of address. Who are you apologizing to? What you said before doesn't count. Do it again. What should you call me? All he had meant was to make Shen call him Yanshong and apologize, and then he would have left him alone. Instead, Shen misunderstood him. After a long silence, in a timid attempt, his voice very soft, he said, Gaga?
Oh my god. Oh my god. So he thought the other guy was like, call me Gaga.
Call me Gaga right now.
Wow.
I love this so much because every time this happens in DANMEI, it's like the most formative moment possible. So here we go, right? Xiaohan stumbled. This address of Gaga from him instantly made his heart crumble. The hand loosely holding Shen unconsciously drew back. A cool breeze blew past, spreading the fragrance of orchids everywhere. Sakura blossoms whooshed.
Oh my god.
Unexpectedly, Xiaohan was also stammering. He bent down and picked Shen up off the ground, dusted leaves and mud off him, and feeling more than he could explain in a few words, said, let's go. Shen hadn't caught up yet. Is it all right? It's all right, my eldest young master. Xiaohan looked down at him and in the depths of his heart sighed soundlessly. His lip curled slightly, and he turned to say right into his ear, if you call me that again, I'll even forsake the darkness for the light for your sake.
What is the darkness for the light? What is that wizard shit?
Their original misunderstanding between each other comes from their ideals and how they operate. So Shen is a very noble, gracious person. He really wants to fight for justice and do things the right way, even at sacrifice to himself. And can be a little bit naive in that way, but he's very stubborn and very determined. Whereas Xiaohan is already kind of known as being part of the Imperial Guard for being just ruthless, cutthroat, like resorting to all sorts of dirty means, having like no sense of morality, literally just doing anything he can to like curry favor and just complete opposite. And they already have these discussions about like what's right and wrong and like how to go about it, and discussing things happening in the court and like people getting thrown into prison and who's even, if they're wrong or right, or is the emperor wrong or right, and just like having these arguments. So Shen, what he's apologizing for in that scene is basically telling Xiaohan like, you're wrong, you're like, the emperor's wrong, you can't be doing these things, like it's wrong and it's an injustice. And he's just like, look, not everyone can be like you. You're gonna have to get used to it. But after one gaga, and this man is ready to throw away all of his hard work.
So the army general is like, we must be good, we're gonna be good guys. Okay, but the guy who was close to the emperor was like, underhanded stuff is fine. This is how we do it in politics.
Yeah, it's like, this is how we do it in court. It's like, nobody's clean. You have to get your hands filthy. You have to do whatever you can to protect yourself and get power.
So he said, if you call me Gaga again, I'll be a good boy.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Wow.
Literally one gaga from a boy he just met, and he's literally like, I would fucking die for you. Not only that, I would actually be a good person for you.
That's amazing. Yes.
I love it. And what's really cool is just that is just an ongoing theme with them. Like
as they like grow up, grow apart, come back together again. They're still very much on different paths and have these different methodologies, different ideals. And that's something that's still very contentious between them because they're both like actively caring for each other. It's like all of their arguing and bickerings and differences are actually come from a point of caring so much about the other. So Fu Shen sometimes gets mad at Yan Xiaohan, but it's because Yan Xiaohan is self-deprecating, says, I'm just an evil, ruthless person. This is just who I am. Like, get over it. And he's like, that is not true though. You are a good person. Stop saying that about yourself, you idiot. And the reverse is like Yan Xiaohan is always like, it's like, stop being such a good person because it only hurts you in the end and no one cares. And he just wants to stop seeing him get hurt. So they've always been looking out for each other even through their differences.
Oh, that's really sweet.
It is really sweet. I love them. Okay, we're gonna go to the next slide for the juicy stuff.
Oh,
okay, yeah.
Hand on neck.
Yeah, the picture's not necessarily related to the juicy questions, but that is actually a picture of the crux of the story is this scene. So if you want to take a stab at what's happening here.
The general guy is like, my illness is getting worse and I can't walk. And then the other guy is like, I will be your legs for life. We can put you in a soapbox car and you can still win the derby.
Okay. So what has just happened is that Yan Xiaohan has just left the emperor's presence, having been told, hey, you're going to marry Fu Shen. No, you don't get a choice in the matter. Actually, you do get a choice in the matter. And the choice is you can either marry him or you can kill him. And Yan Xiaohan is like, I won't be killing him. So I am going to go wife him up immediately, sir. Yes, sir.
Wait, I have a dumb question. What does crux mean?
When I think of crux, I think of like, it's this point upon which everything else
it's built on. Okay.
Yeah, like foundational. So
okay, when you asked me the question, I was thinking climax.
Oh, no, this happens pretty early on. So,
okay.
Fu Shen, after receiving the news that he's going to be in an arranged marriage with Yan Xiaohan, goes and kneels in the rain on the palace steps, like essentially begging the emperor to not do this to him. And it's really pathetic because it's making his injuries worse. It's making him ill. He's been out there for hours. He's in extreme pain. Yan Xiaohan, as soon as he hears word that Fu Shen is out there, like hurting himself in this way in a futile effort, like runs out there and like yells at him for being stupid, for being stupid and noble. And like he starts out with being like, yeah, this isn't doing anything. You're not doing anything. This isn't going to work. Just give up, just accept the marriage because there's nothing else you can do. But then when Fu Shen doesn't respond to that, Yan Xiaohan gets honestly angry with him and asks him, why aren't you rebelling? So instead of kneeling and begging for forgiveness, he wants him to be actually angry and to like march up to the emperor and like do something to fight or to just do something underhand to like just make a scene for once. And this kind of honestly wanting him to fight instead of just give up and beg is something that really makes an impact on Fu Shen.
The emperor's bodyguard goes up to him and is like, stop crying. Why don't you go set something on fire?
Yes.
But why is that impactful to him? He's like, I'm handicapped.
The emperor wants the general to lose his status, basically have his wife take over, his position as the commander, him to not have any heirs. This is basically the end of the line for him. And it's the emperor's bodyguard who's going to be married to him, right? So it's like suddenly the emperor's got his freaking claws into Fu Shen, is dragging down his status and reputation, making him a cut sleeve and everything. And for the bodyguard, this is an advantageous marriage because all he has to do is wait for Fu Shen to die off or whatever. And suddenly he's like commander of his army, he has noble status, like everything about this.
So he should be happy with okay, yeah.
He should, even though it's like, it's not going to be a loving marriage. Like ultimately it's going to benefit him and put down Fu Shen.
Now, but because the bodyguard actually cares for the general, he's like, go fucking burn down the emperor's palace. Like, you do deserve more than this.
Yes, he's upset at how far he's fallen. And he's so upset, and he just has this righteous fury on his behalf, and he lets some of that slip out, and Fu Shen sees that. He responds to the bodyguard with, there's some things a man in society can't do, which sounds kind of lame, but it's him upholding his personal honor of like, I'm going to serve the emperor, whether or not the emperor fucks me over or not, which Yan Xiaohan, the bodyguard, hates. He hates that nobility. He hates it because he's only seen Fu Shen be hurt over and over again by following this path of righteousness. In many ways, Fu Shen is like I would compare him to Crown Prince Xilian in many ways.
Yeah.
Because at like 17, 18, they sent him off to battle, expecting him to just like fail and die, but he like overcome all the challenges, and he's like freaking so young, but he's already borne so much responsibility with nobody to lean on whatsoever. And like having this noble spirit is really the only thing he has left. No family, no friends, no one to take care of him. He's given everything for the nation. And that this is also one of the really big themes of the book. Everything's centered around the emperor, what the emperor wants, whether the emperor is good or bad, etc., etc. But Fu Shen has always been loyal to the nation. He's given his heart to the nation, and that's a really big theme. That's what's so threatening to the emperor, because he's not loyal to the emperor, he's loyal to the nation. And there's the idea in the book of like, emperors come and go. There's all this internal strife in the court. How can we as a country, how can we as officials and nobles serve the country in the best way possible? Like, what has to change? Yeah, so there's a lot of like kind of deep messages in the book as well.
By his rage slipping out, it showed that he cares about the general more than his position and anything advantageously helping the emperor.
Yeah, because at first he starts out telling the general, like, just give up and accept this. You can't do anything. Even if you beg here and die here on the steps, you're not going to change anything.
Yeah.
But clearly, when he changes his tune and kind of grabs him and he's like, why don't you rebel? Like, why don't you stop this? Why don't you just, not accept this? Why don't you run away at least? And when Fu Shen refuses to do that because he's a noble person and can only ask the emperor to change his mind, like it just shows that they're on two different paths, but that they care, that Yan Xiaohan cares about him. Yeah.
They are on very frustrating ends. He's like, you can help yourself. He's like, but not like, I'm going to follow the right path.
This scene is really, I think, the heart of the book, kind of like how MXTX, like when she was imagining TGCF, she had this like vision, just the lone believer in the temple, like this idea that like kind of where the whole book is formed on it. Like this scene, I think, is that for this book. But what I wanted the slide to be about is the boner.
Oh, what? What? There's no way there's a boner in this scene.
No, there's no boner in this scene.
Okay.
But there, I promise you, this is a very sad scene.
It's like, why won't you rebel? Because
okay. So they get married, and there is romance eventually in this book.
Oh, good.
It hasn't been there all along, deep down inside. So of course, as any good DANMEI novel, there are boners, possibly countless boners, but we want to talk about the first boner. What do you think the context is of their very first boner together?
Is it before their wedding night?
No.
Is it on their wedding night? Is it like, all right, we gonna consummate this? Like,
no, they do not consummate their marriage like that. It was never really necessary, so they didn't really do that.
Okay.
At that time.
Is it while they're sharing a horse?
Sharing a horse in that context sounds really bad. There were no horses involved in the boner.
There were horses involved with everything else.
Yes, but not the boner. I'm delighted to inform you that it is under completely normal circumstances. They are literally snuggled in bed together, like sharing a bed,
has always been something they did just because, well, that's not true. They share a bedroom. But they're actually snuggled in bed together. And and it was just a completely normal boner. However, they are talking about a murder case at the time. So yeah.
Wait, who gets it?
That is a good question. It's kind of ambiguous. I think Fu Shen gets it. A good question. That's a good question.
It's just like falling asleep with your lover listening to murder podcasts, and then
essentially, yes. They're like, yeah, that murder sure did happen at the brothel. And he's like, you know what else happens at brothels? And then the boner happens, essentially. Yeah.
Oh, so he was thinking about women at the brothel and not him.
No. I think it's Fu Shen. I'm pretty sure it's Fu Shen.
Oh my god. Did the other guy notice it?
Oh yeah. I mean, they did something about it after that. Like,
yes. They do.
Yeah, that was the first time.
What?
Yeah.
After the cold case files?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Did they go all the way on their first time?
No.
Okay.
No. Yeah. And I think that's mostly because Fu Shen is still very much in a precarious spot with his health. Mostly because he keeps doing stupid shit like go out and stand in the rain.
He's like, I would fuck you, but I think it would kill you.
I love that even though Fu Shen is the one who won't be able to walk for several years and is constantly is dealing with like stupid shit like standing in the rain and getting like a cold and everything. Like he's still the one who bottoms. Like,
well, he's like, yeah, I can't walk anymore, but it's not from my injuries.
Truly.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So they don't go all the way that time, but they definitely do something about it.
How romantic.
Okay, next slide.
Ooh.
So, what is the Golden Terrace?
Is it like they go and I'm like, they don't have to sneak anywhere because they're married. There's no sneaking involved. It's like they go make out in public on the terrace because it's normal because they're married.
You are so close. Keep going.
Do they get married in the terrace?
Yes, they do.
Oh.
Yes, but that is not what the terrace is. So that's part of why it's a thing. But
is it secretly a tomb or something?
No, but kind of like if you spun that in a more positive way, kind of important.
How is a tomb a positive? Secretly, it's the catacombs.
It's not. There's no bodies in there, but it is in a way a memorial.
Okay. Scrooge McDuck's gold pile that he dives into is in that terrace.
No. So the Golden Terrace, it does have a very shiny gold roof, which reflects in the sun, and it's like very beautiful. And they do get married there. And this place is very important for Fu Shen because this is where there's a portrait of his father and his grandfather and other very important like officials and nobles in the past, going back for like years and years and years. It's a place where like people are honored, and it represents kind of like the heart and strength of the nation and like stability from generation to generation. And for Fu Shen, like the Golden Terrace is kind of represents his personal devotion to serving the nation, and his ideals, and like his wanting to like help the common people continue making the empire like just a stable, good place for everyone. And it's based off of a real place. And I tried to find pictures of it, but I couldn't. So I'm thinking there might be something to do with language. I don't have the right words to find it. The dais in this story, named after its golden beauty under the sunlight, is based on the real-life Golden Terrace, also known as Xiaohan Terrace in China. It is also an elevated land believed to be a historical location formerly used to recruit talented individuals. The Golden Terrace was attributed to King Xiao of Yan, the 39th king in the state of Yan during the Warring States period of ancient China under the Zhou dynasty. It was believed to be the location where King Xiao and his mentor Guo Wei
recruited many talents to help rule the state of Yan and develop into a powerful political entity during the Warring States period. The legacy of King Xiao's Golden Terrace has been passed down in the form of poetry and other historical documents. The current location of the dais is in the province of Hebei, China. So it's based off of a real terrace, and it's kind of the symbol of national prestige and like all of these talents coming together to make the nation a good place. So for Fu Shen, it really ties into his personal heritage of coming from a line of generals who served the nation, and him wanting to continue that and to live a noble and righteous path. Yeah.
It's cool. So it means a lot. So it definitely gets burned down at some point.
You were so right. It definitely does get burned down.
Oh dear.
You were so right. So it makes sense why the book is called Golden Terrace, because it really is a book that is about exploring, what is the best way to serve a nation? How do you be a good person? How do you be a good ruler? Because there are multiple opportunities for Fu Shen to if you want to be emperor, go fucking take the throne. You could do it. You have an army, but he doesn't, because he's like, why would I do that? I just want to live a quiet life with my wife. Yeah. So that's Golden Terrace. Do the final slide. The most important question of all.
Oh no, the dog better not die. Oh no, the dog dies. No. Well, now I'm not reading it. Sorry.
I can explain. The dog exists for approximately one sentence.
Then why is it even in there?
I know. It's really, literally, okay. It's
like writing, it's like writing in the gay character just to kill him off.
Literally. Okay. Literally, there was no reason for the dog to be there. Never mind, die. But I do have to warn you, okay? At some point, there is a case of poisoning. They have to test if the food is poisoned. They, not the main characters, but someone in the court brings in a puppy, specified puppy.
A puppy?
They feed the puppy poison, and the puppy dies a terrible death of poisoning, proving that the food was poisoned.
Why
and someone tried to poison them.
A bird or something.
I know. Well, I don't know if a bird could eat human food.
I'm upset.
I'm upset too. I'm sorry.
I don't like this.
I'm sorry. If it helps, real people died too.
I don't care about real people dying.
Oh,
we're gonna boycott Golden Terrace, okay?
I swear it was one sentence, which makes it really shocking. You're like, oh, a puppy. Oh, a puppy. Then it's over.
That's terrible. I would rather them feed it to like the lowly guard. They're like, you eat this. He's like, I don't think I should. Is anybody sad for the puppy at least?
No. Nobody cares.
I guess they were a little bit more preoccupied that they were about to be poisoned.
Yes, yeah, I think it was a pretty big deal that someone was gonna get poisoned. But I promise you, our main characters were not responsible or involved in any way.
Okay. Well, okay then.
And that's all I got for you.
Oh, I'm really, really intrigued. I did buy the specialty premium box set, whatever version. So Stitch and I are going to open that together in our next Golden Terrace video. So if you guys liked this video, be sure to click like down below and leave a comment. And also be sure to check out Stitch on Instagram at One Stitch from Hell. She is an incredible cosplayer and photographer, if you don't know already. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!